Good afternoon. I welcome you all to this new session on information systems. As you are all aware, we are living in a information society or a knowledge society. This society is driven by information economy or a knowledge economy. In the knowledge environment where modern organizations compete, information is considered to be the most vital resource. It is the resource that must be effectively be managed to be of value, as without it, it would be difficult for organizations to survive. They cannot properly strategically plan or have a competitive advantage. All of you, as in the previous sessions, you know that information differs from data when data are nothing but raw facts, observations, unorganized facts. But when data is used in a meaningful context, it becomes information, or processed data is information. Information differs from data as it has been put in a usable form, whereas data essentially refers to facts and statistics. All of you should know that within an organizational setting, information flows in various directions, almost in all directions, from up to down to up, laterally, horizontally, vertically. So, within an organizational setting, information flows in various directions. When information flows downwards from senior management to lower management, it moves in the form of budgetary targets, key performance indicators, non-financial targets, etc. Whereas summarized operational information is communicated upwards from lower levels and can then be used by senior management for planning and control purposes. External parties such as suppliers, customers, shareholders, etc., continuously exchange data or information with the firm. We have discussed that information systems, which are nothing new. Earlier we had the manual information systems, but now we have the computer-based information systems. What does an information system means? It means that it's a set of people, procedures, and resources that utilize computer hardware and software to calculate, to collect, transform, disseminate information in an organization. As a discipline, information system captures, stores, manipulates, and presents data about an organization's value-adding activities to aid decision making, decision making, and to the decision makers in planning, monitoring, and controlling the organization. Information systems and information technology, they form the integral part of every modern day organization. They are the core functions in every modern day organization, may it be small or a MNC. So computer-based information systems, they use information technology to transform data resources into a variety of information products. May be as reports, may be as responses to queries, or may be in the form of alerts. So these are some of the information products that are generated out of a combination of these two important functions in every organization: information systems and information technology. So computer-based information systems, they use information technology to transform data resources into a variety of information products. Information systems, they existed well before the development of computers. So manual-based information systems were there from ages. But today, what we use are computer-based information systems. IT is the one that forms the core of every information system. IT is simply the use of computers to manage information systems. You should know that there are four kinds of organizational changes that are enabled by information systems. These are automation, rationalization, re-engineering, and paradigm shift, which we will be discussing in the next session about how information systems brought about these four kinds of changes, organizational changes. Companies, they follow different routes in achieving quality, maybe through the use of information systems or various other aspects. Whatever route a company selects, the more it tries to achieve with its quality programs, the more information systems can contribute to success of those programs. Basically, there are four main drivers behind this new revolution and the evolution of information systems. Man moved from an agricultural society to an industrial society to live in an information society, but we have left beyond this society to get into a knowledge society or a digital society. The main drivers of these new societies are four types or four drivers, you can say, are what drive these new societies. The first one in these modern societies, information societies or knowledge societies or digital societies, you'll see that information requirements, technology development, systems approach, and the scientific approach to management. These are the four drivers which drive these new societies, wherein people try to achieve competitive advantage. So, the information requirements of organizations can be internal or external information. Internal information, the requirements have been growing due to the increase in firm size and business complexity and changes in ownership structures. External information is the information that is disseminated by organizations to regulators. So it is nothing but related to financial reporting, to conform to government norms and regulations. The second driver, which is one of the important drivers of information systems, is technology. Many disruptive technologies and emerging technologies have contributed to the development of information systems, the two computer-based information systems, the increasing computing power, the rapidly decreasing cost of storage and other hardware and software, and the advent of internet represents a quantum change in computer-based information systems and its wide use, not just in big companies, but also small kirana houses have started to use rampantly computer-based information systems. So apart from the information requirements of organizations, the hunger for quality information, for the information to come in the right time with the right content and right form, plus the technological development that are taking place around, and companies are quick to grab those technologies to benefit out of them. Organizations also use two other drivers, which is important for functioning and competing in this new uh, information economy or the knowledge economy, as we say. It is you do things in the right way. That too, you use a systems approach to problem solving. May, when when you use this systems approach, uh, you have value added products. So the systems approach is nothing but a way of structuring and coordinating the activities and operations within an organization. All organizations, they use the five components of a system. A system is nothing but a set of components that work together to achieve a common objective. And they have five components: the input, process, output, control, and feedback forms a system. And the value of a system as a whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Realizing this, organizations, in order to bring about synergy, in order to achieve a little bit extra, they implement the systems approach to problem solving in their organizations or to decision making. Earlier, uh, organizations started to implement standalone computer based information systems. But the standalone computer based information systems were not much of uh, uh, benefit to the organizations, as there were silos, and these silos created a little bit of problem for organizations in order to deliver quality products. So the problems in this silo approach or this standalone approach was taken care by integrating these systems into a enterprise systems, or in other words, they are called as integrated information systems. So modern day organizations today tightly integrate their, after developing the standalone systems, they try to do an integration of these information systems, and they call it as an enterprise system. Electronic data interchange, electronic fund transfer, enterprise resource planning are some of the enterprise systems that are widely used in modern day organizations. ERP is one of the best examples, which provides the whole organization with a complete solution. Uh, we know the fact that the various functions of the organization interact with each other, and they can make good use of ERP to provide a solution to the organization's needs. So the systems approach is the approach that modern organizations use. And with this approach, computer based information systems started to provide timely performance feedback to other functions. So, one big advantage of use of systems approach is that you have an optimal solution on hand, or you have value added products on hand, uh, so that all the stakeholders of the organizations are satisfied, and you start to make dramatic profits instead of incremental profits. So the information requirements are taken care, and the information requirements uh, force organizations to embrace the computer based information systems. The various emerging disruptive technologies force organizations to implement computer based systems. The systems approach also forces organizations to use it in a proper manner to benefit out of it. Organizations also use a scientific approach to management, so that planning, organizing, controlling, decision making, all this can be done very nicely using various models. And these models, they increase the significance of information systems. So a wide use of models may be accounting models, HR models, manufacturing models, or production models, or logistic models. These models basically increase the significance of information systems for organizations. Not just the four drivers. Today, you should know that computers and the internet have significantly increased the scope of computer-based information systems, which today is not just confined in the mere reporting or in the mere analysis of historical data or past performance, but also uh, uh, computer-based information systems. They extend. They also extend the capabilities to the provision of forward-looking information, acquiring forward-looking information to help top management in their decision making. So, in order for the organization's management to make structured, semi-structured, and unstructured decisions, the management looks forward to implementing and using computer-based information systems, because computer-based information systems are now able to convey timely and valuable information to both internal and external stakeholders. And computer-based information systems are well recognized as a key component in every organization. And the management and every stakeholder is dependent on these computer-based information systems to carry out operations, to carry out tactics, and to carry out strategic planning and control in the organizations. Now, computer-based information systems, which we have discussed earlier also, today I'm emphasizing that they have basic interacting components or functions. The first function, which is the input function of every computer-based information systems, which widely uses in hardware to input data. So the component involves capturing and assembling elements that enter the system to be processed. Basically, it is the raw material or the data or the human effort that must be secured and organized for processing. Processing is the next component or function of every computer-based information system. Here, data collected is classified, is calculated, is sorted, and summarized. Why? Because the raw material, which is the data, which is to be transformed through a transformation process. So the input can be converted into the output, which is a value-added output. So I can give you an example of a manufacturing process or mathematical calculations which throw results onto either the screen or to another system to be processed again. So output is the last component, which involves transferring elements or data that have been produced by a transformation process to their ultimate destination. For example, finished products, human services, marketing and management information must be transferred to their human users. Apart from these three main components, we also have two other very important components which drive computer-based information systems. We just now discussed these three main activities of information systems that produce information organizations need for their internal and external use. So the input function captures raw data from organization or external environment. The processing part converts the raw data into meaningful form, and the output transfers processed information to people or activities that use it. Apart from these three components, computer-based information systems have two other important components or functions, which play a very important role in the generation of value-added outputs from a computer-based information system. One is a control unit, which is a control component which is incorporated or installed within the process component. The control basically involves monitoring and evaluating the feedback that is generated out of the system. The control component is involved in monitoring and evaluating feedback to determine whether a system is moving towards the achievement of its goal. If not, you start fresh, collect the right data that needs to be inputted into the process to again be checked by the control unit. So the control function makes necessary adjustments to a system's input and processing components to ensure that it produces the right output or a proper output. I can give you an example. For example, a sales manager exercises control when he or she reassigns salespersons to new territories after evaluating feedback about their sales performance. So feedback is another important component of every information system. It is the data about the performance of a system. For example, data about sales performance is feedback to a sales manager. So these are the five important components or functions of every modern day computer-based information systems. The modern day information systems, as I have already told you, they make good use of the systems approach or the systems concept. They use the systems concept to be developed and implemented, and they use the scientific method to drive the soul of information systems. So the systems concept can be made even more useful by including not just the three components of input, process, and output, but the feedback and the control component. So every system that comes with a feedback and control component is sometimes called a cybernetic system. That is self-monitoring. It can be a system that is self-monitoring, self-regulating. We have a information system framework that emphasizes that four major concepts can be applied to all types of information systems that we are going to study. What are these major concepts? Information systems basically look for four basic resources. The first one is system skilled people or people resources. The right kind of people with the right training in systems should come into the organizational system, carry forward the activities of information systems. The right kind and the latest hardware needs to be procured, installed, used to benefit. The software that will deal with the hardware and generate applications, the right software needs to be acquired. A library of software needs to be implemented, and last but not the least, the data resources should be of quality, which needs to be inputted into the computer-based information systems to generate quality information products. So people resources, they include end users. They include IS specialists like programmers, system analysts, system and network experts, database administrators. So the list can go on and on. Apart from the people resources, hardware resources are important. Acquisition and installation of the right hardware can provide organizations with a higher level of benefits. It's not just the hardware resources, compatible software resources like programs and procedures needs to be installed or need to run on the right kind of hardware. Apart from people resources, hardware resources, and software resources, information systems depend heavily on the data resources. Data that comes in the right time with the right content and the right form is considered to be quality data, having various aspects. It's not just the data resource, rather the models that are built plus the knowledge bases. The model bases, the knowledge bases, the databases, they support the working of computer-based information systems. So the data resources basically are transformed by information system, by information processing activities into a variety of information products for end users. As I told you, various kinds of reports like daily reports, monthly reports, yearly reports, exception reports, trend reports, ad hoc reports, a number of reports are generated as a result of many of the information processing activities when data are transformed into quality information. So information processing, which is a process, includes classification of data, calculation of data, sorting and summarizing of data. So this particular processing consists of input, processing, output, storage, and control activities. Data that comes in needs to be stored in rows and columns and then utilized in the processing to generate results. And various control activities are also carried out when the processing of data is on. This diagram basically shows the functions of a modern day computer-based information systems. As you can see, there are a number of stakeholders which utilize information systems that run within organizations. You can see that internal information is processed, used by the organization, but external information is thrown in for the benefit of regulatory agencies, stockholders, competitors, customers, and suppliers. So a organizational system or an information system basically contains information about an organization and its surrounding environment. It utilizes three basic activities like the activities of input, processing, and output to produce the information organizations need, to produce the quality information that organizations need. Feedback, if you take a look, feedback is output that is returned to appropriate people or activities in the organization to evaluate and refine the input. Environmental actors, namely customers, suppliers, competitors, stockholders, and regulatory agencies, interact with the organization and its information systems. Computer-based information systems. The business perspective on information systems is that information system is nothing but an instrument for creating value. This particular thing is important. In modern day organizations, computer-based information systems are used as an instrument for creating value or for creating value-added products and to maximize customer satisfaction. Heavy investments in information technology and the right kind of system skilled people will result in superior returns like increased productivity, increased revenue, superior long-term strategic positioning for the organizations. We have operational support systems running in organizations. We have management support systems running in organizations. We have executive support systems for the top managers. So computer-based information systems conform types of information systems conform to the various levels of the organization's hierarchy, may it be the operations level, mid-level, or the top level. There are different various kinds of information systems. Now, the main actors for running the support systems are basically suppliers of hardware and software, business firms, managers and employees, firms environment. All these are some of the main actors in the information systems eco area. Information systems basically just don't take a technical view of things, they just don't take a behavioral view of things, rather, they have a mixed view, like a socio-technical view of things. This socio-technical view of information systems is utilized by organization for achieving optimal organizational performance by jointly optimizing both social and technical systems used in production. Maximization of profit is done when a modern organization takes a socio-technical view of things, because this socio-technical view helps avoid purely technological approach. A human touch can change things. Technology and human capabilities are combined. Human behavior and technology are combined to run the so-called as information systems. This diagram basically shows the various levels of the management's hierarchy. People working in the operational management, they are involved in day-to-day operations. They are involved in production, and basically here the service workers, the data workers, they work, and this is the level where the customers come, the stakeholders come and interact with the organization. And this is the level where heavy use of information systems and information technology is used to trap the data, to classify the data, to sort and summarize the data and send it to the next level, the mid-level, wherein knowledge workers or work and they are involved in resource allocation. They are involved in tactical planning and control. Whereas the lower level managers, they are involved in operational activities. So the data that is processed at the mid-level is the output of the processing of data is sent to the senior management for use. So at the three levels of the organization's hierarchy, in order to support the managers in their day-to-day work or in the tactical work or in the strategic work, various kinds of information systems have been designed at various periods of time. Business organizations are nothing but a hierarchy of these three principal levels: the senior management, mid management, and operational management. And you should know that information systems serve at each of these levels. There are various kinds or types of information systems which have been designed to support the work of managers in these three levels. Okay. So at the bottom level, you have two categories of support system. One is the transaction processing systems and the office automation system, which was initially designed by for the workers at the lowest level. Now, what do office automation systems mean? Office automation systems are nothing but they are a type of information systems, or they are a category of information systems that facilitates everyday information processing tasks in offices and business organizations. May it be documentation, may it be spreadsheet calculations, may it be presentations, may it be database management, may it be for operation research. So it has a suite of softwares which can be utilized to automate the system and generate results. Office automation systems basically include wide range of tools such as spreadsheets, word processors, presentation softwares, to name a few. Although telephones, email, Vmail, and social media can be included in this category, but many of these can be treated as communication systems as a separate category of information systems. If you take a look at office automation systems, they are the support systems which provide individuals effective ways to process personal and organizational business data, to perform calculations, and to create documents. So, office automation systems basically cater to the requirements of the supervisory level or cater to the low level managers who are involved in structured decision making, and they make heavy use of computers, and they create documents which can be utilized at the tactical and the strategic level. So basically, the users of office automation systems, initially when it was designed, it can be anyone who stores personal data, creates documents, or performs calculation. Now, these office automation systems, they have an impact on communication. They provide tools for creating documents and presentations, such as word processors, and presentation application programs. They improve the decision-making capabilities of the managers at the operational level by providing spreadsheets and other tools for analyzing information. Communication tools also help in implementing decisions. So it is not just the transaction processing systems or the office automation systems. Organizations make good use of communication systems. They make good use of information communication technologies. Electronic communication systems, they basically help people to work together by exchanging or sharing information in many different forms. Every day, if you see, we come across a lot of communications through social media, like WhatsApp, Facebook, Messenger, Twitter, LinkedIn. And huge quantity of data is exchanged. Now, new communication capabilities have changed the way many businesses operate by making it possible to do many things at a distance that previously required being present in a specific location. But today I can work from anywhere, any place, anytime through the facilities available to me. So in this section or in this session, we will group the tools of information systems into four general categories. One is teleconferencing systems, make it possible to hold same time, different place meetings. Messaging systems, make it possible to transmit specific messages. Messaging systems make it possible to transmit specific messages to specific individuals or group of individuals. Apart from the softwares which is widely used by individuals, there are even softwares for groups to work. These are called as collaborative systems, or these are in other words called as the groupware systems. And all of you should know that groupware systems start with messaging, but go further by facilitating access to documents and controlling team-related workflow. Knowledge management systems facilitate the sharing of knowledge rather than just information. So communication systems, they help people work together by sharing information in many different forms. Uh, if you take a look that these systems have an impact on communication, telephones and teleconferencing is widely used for communication today in organizations. Organizations use these ICTs for virtual conferencing and meetings. They use these communication systems for sending mails, using social media for communicating, using messages and documents. They provide access to memos and other shared information. You can schedule meetings using these systems. You can also control flow of work using these systems. So uh, the impact that they make on the impact that they make on the impact that they make on our lives in organization is huge. You'll see that the two sets of information systems that have been designed for the lower level, uh, they provide an impact on decision making by providing spreadsheet and other tools for analyzing information. They also provide tools to help in implementing those decisions. So communication systems or ICTs, they provide support for sharing information related to making joint decisions also. So aside putting aside the office automation systems, which has been designed for the low level management, there are also another set of information systems which are widely used at the operational level or at the lowest level. A transaction processing system is such a system. It's an operational support system. Apart from the OS, TPS is also an operational information system. It collects, stores data about transactions, events, and sometimes controls decisions made as part of a transaction. A transaction is a business event that generates or modifies data stores in an information system. So transaction processing systems were the first computerized information systems that were designed, and you will be frequently be interacting with the transaction processing systems every time you write a check or use a credit card or pay a bill sent by a company. A TPS used to record a sale and generate a receipt is primarily concerned with collecting and storing data. If the TPS validates a credit card or helps a clerk determine whether to accept a personal check, it also controls decisions made within the transaction. So TPSs are generally designed to support structured decision making or programmable decision making. They help people uh, whose work involves performing transactions. Transaction processing systems, they create a database that can be accessed directly, thereby making some person-to-person communication unnecessary. The TPSs give immediate feedback on decisions made while processing transactions. TPSs, they normally provide information for planning and managerial, operational and managerial decisions for the low-level management. The next level of information systems, they are a set of information systems which are the most powerful information systems which are widely used in organizations. Now, these are called as management support systems. MIS and DS are the two support systems which are widely used at the tactical level by the mid-level managers. So computerized management information system, they generate information for monitoring performance, maintaining coordination, and providing background information about the organization's operations. Uh, who are the users who make a good use of MIS? The users may include both managers and the employees who receive feedback about performance indicators such as productivity. Mid-level managers who are involved in resource allocation make good use of these managerial support systems because MIS provides a basis of facts rather than opinions for explaining problems and their solutions. This is the reason why they are also called as tactical support systems. They may incorporate email and other communication methods with presentation of computerized data. These as managerial information systems, they provide summary information and measures of performance for monitoring results. They may also provide easy ways to analyze the types of information provided in less flexible form by older MIs. So, management information systems and the top level information systems like executive information system, they convert the transaction processing systems data into information for monitoring performance and for managing an organization. They also provide executives information in a readily accessible interactive format. The most powerful computer-based support system is the DSS. Now, basically, MISs, they used online transaction processing systems, and their core component of every MIS was a database. It utilizes a DBMS or a RDBMS to process the data that is stored to generate huge reports. Once the data that is inputted into a MIS, while the data is being processed, no changes can be made. So that's the reason why it goes on generating huge reports where necessary and unnecessary data can be generated. If managers want customized reports or reports as per their requirements and they want to incorporate changes to the data when the data is being processed, then MIS is not a good system. They fall back upon another powerful system, which is called as the decision support system. This is the most powerful support system ever designed for managers because this is a support system which uses what is called as online analytic processing. It can support multi-criteria decision making. DSS are normally interactive information system that provide information and they make heavy use of models. They have a model base and a model based management system. They are used as data manipulation tools to help make decisions in semi-structured and unstructured situations where no one knows exactly how the decision should be made. So two, three aspects of a decision support system make it the most powerful system because we can utilize these support systems to generate ad hoc reports, exceptional reports, and to generate alerts. Managers can use models to generate optimal solutions. That's why these support systems, decision support systems, are considered to be the most powerful support systems utilized by managers. Uh, DSS are intended to support managers and professionals doing largely analytical work in less structured situations with unclear criteria for success. So these DSS are typically designed to solve the structured parts of the problem and to help isolate places where judgment and experience are required. All of you should know that DSS may report repetitive or non-repetitive decision making. They support repetitive decision making by defining procedures and formats. but they still permit the users to decide how and when to use the system's capabilities. They support non-repetitive decision making by providing data, models, and interface methods that can be used however the user wants. The broad spectrum of information systems with a DSS level range from general tools such as spreadsheets, data analysis tools to graphical packages to highly customized simulation or optimization models focusing on a specific business situation. As I told you, the power of a DSS lies in OLAP. It is different from OLTP. OLTP normally saves the data to be utilized by managers in their decision making to support their decision making capabilities. But OLAP can greatly enhance decision making by generating decisions for managers. The idea of OLAP grew out of difficulties analyzing the data in databases that were being updated continuously by online transaction processing systems. So when the analytical processes accessed large slices of the transaction database, they slow down transaction processing critical to customer relationships. The solutions was periodic downloads of data from the active transaction processing database into a separate database designed specifically to support analysis work. The separate database often resides on different computers called as servers, which together with its specialized software called data warehouses, they function, store, they extract, load, and transform the data into meaningful form. So downloading data to a data warehouse makes it possible to perform both transaction processing and analytical processing efficiently without manual interference. Now, apart from OLAP, query tools or data mining tools are used by the decision support systems. Data mining is nothing but a tool for data analysis, which helps managers to try to find the patterns in large transaction databases, such as customer receipts generated in a large sample of grocery stores across India or United States. Careful analysis of this data might reveal non-obvious patterns and trends that could be used for marketing promotions, such as correlation between diaper sales and beer sales during the evening hours. So decision support systems basically help in analyzing and providing a clear rationale for explaining a decision. They provide tools for analyzing data and building models. DSS helps in the analysis, define and evaluate alternatives. They help people make decisions, basically semi-structured and unstructured decisions, by providing information, models, or analysis tools. The top level support system for top level managers is called as an executive information system. Basically, these are support systems which have, apart from a strong database and a model base, these have a strong interfacing component. They are highly interactive systems that provide top managers and executives flexible access to information for monitoring, operating results, and general business conditions. These systems, the executive information systems, they provide top managers with internal and competitive information through the user-friendly interfaces. Typically, users can choose amongst a number of tabular or graphical formats. They can also control the level of detail that triggers for exception conditions and other aspects of the information displayed. Most of these modern executive support systems, they focus on providing top managers with the background information they need, as well as help in understanding the causes of exceptions and surprises. This leaves the top managers better prepared to discuss issues with their subordinates. So you can see that EISs may support communication or information sharing between people doing different parts of the task. They can also help manage the workflow automation. Executive support systems may help explain the result of the tasks to customers. They provide tools, information, and structured methods for making decisions. ESS may store and provide expert knowledge to support decisions in specific strategic areas. So, if I take an example of office automation systems in sales, manufacturing, and finance, basically in sales, OS can be used as spreadsheet to analyze different possible prices. They can be used to analyze production schedules or several loan arrangements. Likewise, transaction processing systems can be used in sales for point of sale systems for sales transactions, in for tracking movement of work in progress in a factory, or for processing credit card payments. Management information systems in sales can be used for weekly sales, generating weekly sales report by product, by region. They can be used for weekly production report by production and operation. They can be utilized for generating receivable reports showing invoices and payments. So the most powerful support system, as I've been telling you, DSS, are utilized for analyzing characteristics of customers who pay bills promptly. It can be utilized for stock databases and models to help in selecting stocks to buy or sell. In sales, it can be used for helping insurance salespeople test alternatives. So, executive information systems, the last type of information systems, can be used for consolidation of sales projections, for determination of planned purchases, or for monthly financial plan consolidations. So, last but not the least, apart from the various types of information systems, modern day organizations make good use of ERP systems or the enterprise systems. They are nothing but used to create integrated databases that spans the major activities in a company. So thank you. With this, we come to the end of this session, and we will discuss more in our next session. Thank you once again.